He's one of my favorites, and I'm not just saying that because he says yes when I ask him to come on the show. I've known him for several decades. He is the brilliant host of his own sports center, the Scott Van Pelt Sports Center, and the longtime worldwide leader in Sportsman. Now part of the Monday Night Football Countdown crew at the site, Scott Van Pelt here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you doing, Scotty?
I'm well. I'm hugging you. This is me hugging you.
I appreciate that. I'm going right back at you on that front. All right, Scott, let's just jump into it. What was it like to be there last night?
It's a play, and I don't know how many acts, but there are a lot of them. The build up pregame and the excitement. I mean, think of all of you know what it is. It's 9/11, just outside of New York City. It's all that's cooked into that day. And then the release of what sports offers everybody in our country, and specifically in New York. It's Aaron Rodgers coming out of the tunnel with the flag. It's MetLife, absolutely as electric as an environment gets. And then 4 plays in 75 seconds, and you're like, he's hurt. It's hard to overstate how much the air came out of that balloon. And yet that defense wouldn't let them totally check out. And the fact that the defense kept the Jets in it just enough that if you make a play, you might be able to steal this thing. And then here comes Gibson, whose story is well known because of Hard Knocks. And I'm standing right next to Adam Schefter on the other end of the field because that's where our set's going to be when the game ends. The minute he gets to the numbers on the left side of the field, Schefter hits me. He's like, he's going to score. I'm like, you're right. And the release in that building, the euphoria. We'll think about weeks 2 through 17 another time. Right now, we just beat the Bills, and it was mayhem. And then, 30 seconds later, I'm on the air trying to, communicate with Joe and Troy. It was an incredible. This roller coaster of emotions was astounding, and it's doing the show live in the arena. They're not all going to be like that.
No.
But it's just such a great reminder of what it feels like in a setting when there's that sort of cathartic release.
And I still can't believe the game ended that way, Scott.
Nor can I.
But I could.
Nor can I. I mean, I realize most people are viewing this through the Jets lens, and I get it.
Yeah.
But if you're Buffalo, you can't lose that football game. You just can't. Can't. Division rival. Rodgers goes down. Like, just get out of there with a win. Road win, in division, you're off and running. I can't imagine them. As we left the stadium, Bills Mafia, you're special. There were like 4 Bills fans. One was upright. There were 3 that were splayed out on the concrete. I hope they're still with us. I don't know for sure. I know none of them are at work today. And if they are, they're probably not particularly productive. But what a scene. What a scene.
I know, and I think a couple of them were giving some Jets fans the business. There was one moment the Monday Night Football cameras were panned, unfortunately, to a Jet fan who flipped a bird at one of the guys. And I screen grabbed that and put that on my Instagram feed saying, right back at you, football gods, because I couldn't believe that, but that's a phrase. That's a turn of the phrase or use of a phrase, because I can believe this happened to the Jets. And I totally agree with you that we are looking at it through the lens of the Jets. There is Northeast bias. Western New York can wait for a moment. And also, this is all we've talked about. This is all that we have talked about because it's a first ballot Hall of Famer going from one place to a next. Brady did that just a couple years ago to ultimate success. The Jets go back to the goat farm in Green Bay to try and do it again. There were so many reasons to talk about it, and then just 4 snaps. That's it. I can't believe it.
No, it's never. I mean, I think everyone is doing some version of the same thing, particularly, Rich, if you're old enough to have a frame of reference that's more than just like magazine thin, right? You're old enough, you've got a book of memories, and you're trying to page back and go, who, what's the same? Nothing. You have the iconic franchise that is Green Bay. You have a guy that has a Hall of Fame career there, leaving to come to New York. Like, I asked Peyton Manning about it. I mean, Indy to Denver. He did it, but with respect to Indy, that's not Green Bay. And with respect to Denver, that's not New York. So it's got every element of what makes us and our business just foam at the mouth. Like, it's going to give us something. And then for it to be this, I don't care if you despise Aaron for whatever reason. If you're a Bears fan or a Lions fan or a Vikings fan and you just took it on the teeth over and over and over again, you have to have some empathy for this dude, because whatever the story was going to be, you at least wanted to see it written, right? You wanted the opportunity for him to write the story, good, bad, or indifferent. And this is it's just so unsatisfying. And I'm not talking about you or Greeny or, my guy Dean Woody and the people that are Jets passionate fans.
Yes.
I seriously, I ache for him, and then all of the people in the fandom that were just so excited. And now, we're back to what it was last year, where the defense is going to give you a chance, and you're going to have to figure out, your quarterback situation.
Well, I mean, and if it is Zach, which it's going to be, I mean, there's just no question in my mind.
You make a move. I don't know what that would be.
The move is to get a backup. I went totally nuts in my show open, Scott, and I said it's call Brady. I know that's ridiculous, and
no,
I know
it's not.
I mean,
make him say no.
Right. Yeah.
Make him say no. What's it like? My wife kids around all the time. She's like, you got to ask for what you want in life. So, all right, Jets, we call him. Somebody's got to sell. Tom, look, not for nothing. We got a spot for you.
I know.
You got to like this football stuff, right?
Exactly. Scott Van Pelt here on the Rich Eisen Show, fresh back from Monday Night Football. Okay. So I think you did hit on one of the storylines once the Jets mania and the Jets-centric opinions and takes subside, and it is the Buffalo side of things. And so I don't know. I mean, I know Allen is a risk taker in a very Favre-like way, but he also throws passes like the ones to put them in position for the doink, by the way, to put them into overtime. And then the touchdown pass that had the Bills up for much of the game, where he just bought an insane amount of time until he found Diggs in the end zone. I mean, so I'd rather go to battle with someone like him than most in the league, Scott.
Well, without question. We're really bad in our business at just the nuance element of this. Just both things can be true. I hear this. If anybody else threw these interceptions, they'd get crushed. Well, no one crushed Josh Allen last night harder than Josh Allen, who said the same bleep, different day. His body language and what he was saying tells you he knows this is on him. He knows he can't take these chances. He knows he can't just get to that itchy trigger finger, and he's like, the hell with it. I'm going to take a shot at Diggs down the field. It's double coverage. We'll see what happens. Well, you just can't turn the ball over like that. He knows that. But you're telling me, all right, okay, well, we'll play this game. All right, if he takes too many risks and turns the ball over too many times, which he's saying he would do, how long is your list of people that you'd rather have? Because it's not that long. He's got to value the ball more, period. And if he doesn't, then they're going to continue to hit their head on the ceiling at a level that's not what they're hoping it will ultimately be. So I think Allen's own words answer that question. But yes, what he can do with the football in his hands is, it's there. He's got gifts that few have. So I don't know. I'm a fan of the guy.
Me too.
And I appreciated that he owned it in that moment, because he knew more than anybody knew. We can't lose that game, and they did.
I'm with you. And then the other storyline that's already beginning to surface, and I think it's going to, if I had a wager around Wednesday, if not Thursday, will be a lot more of a hot button subject until Thursday Night Football, an actual game between the Vikings and the Eagles removes it, is the turf and the playing surface. And the photograph of Rodgers blowing out his Achilles perfectly captures it, that there's no give at all. There's pellets all over the place. There's a perfectly planted left foot that's also having the right thigh of Leonard Floyd applying the pressure. And I think you can even see the bulge in the calf where the Achilles is going. It's jarring. And so
this is Zapruder film sort of analysis that you're providing here.
Well, you're seeing the Achilles go back into the left, Scott.
To the left.
Yes.
Look, I get it from the Jets lens. I would look at it and look for what happened. People get hurt playing football. It sucks, and it's the reality of it. The thing that would bother me about this one, let's just look at just one venue, MetLife, and it gets a ton of run. I mean, Carol G and 2 concerts and the Giants. They've never done this, by the way, never gone Sunday night, Monday night. And salute to the people in MetLife. They flipped it for this, and they're going to do it for week 4. And so you need a surface that can handle that. But I find it interesting. They're going to replace it with grass for the World Cup. Huh. So we got a pitch made of grass for the guys that play soccer. Well, all right. I just wonder at some point if and people will still get injured on grass because they do. But
right.
I'm with you. I think, and every player that plays the sport will tell you the same. They prefer it to be grass. And so, I mean, these venues they're factories for, generating revenue, and having grass makes it a harder thing to do. Look, I root for the Washington team, and their field has been horrible for years because they rent it out like a bingo hall, and the grass gets just destroyed. So I don't know what the right answer is. But I know that it does seem that there are more injuries. Whether that's just the way we feel about it, or if that's the reality, I don't know.
All right, and let's flip the script back into the right. I believe behind you is that a puppy? Who do we got back there, Scott?
That's big Red. That's Red. I had a Rhodesian Ridgeback named Otis. When he passed away, I did a thing about it on the show.
That was beautiful.
Anybody that ever had a dog kind of knows what that is. Well, right. Red, he's about a year old. He's about 100 pounds of muscle. He's pretty calm at the moment. I did go on a podcast early in his time. He took a dump right behind me. So I'm happy today that at the moment Red appears to be quite comfortable.
Hey, Red. Okay. So did we walk Red today? Is that why Red's already tuckered?
Just got back. Just took him on a stroll. Thankfully, he didn't see any deer. When he does, it's the DNA in him is like, I must kill those deer. I don't know what he would do if he got one. I don't think he's capable. I don't think he's hardwired.
It's very docile, Scott. I mean, it's a docile.
Right now he is.
Yeah. There he goes. Hold on a minute. Red's on.
He's had enough for you, Rich Eisen.
And scene. I think that's a perfect way to end it.
I think if he was a Jets fan, he'd be flipping the bird. I'm not going to do it because then you'll screen grab that and put it on your Instagram.
You're the best, Scott. Thanks for doing this, pal. You be well.
One more time. Nothing but love. Hang in there, big fella. Keep the faith.
We're hugging it out. So you're heading to Pittsburgh next week? Is that where you're going? You're going to Pittsburgh next week?
2 double headers. So when there's double headers, we'll do the show from Connecticut. The next road trip is right back to MetLife for week 4. It'll be Seattle and the Giants. And after those week 1 performances from those teams, who's fired up for that one, huh? 180 yards of offense versus the worst performance I've ever seen in my life. Who's fired up for football? All right.
It's a week-to-week league, brother. Week-to-week league.
Yeah, we know it'll be different.
We're turning pages.
Something will happen.
We turn pages. Thanks for the time. Take care of yourself, pal.
Love to the family, Rich.
Same to you. That's Scott Van Pelt, the one and only Scott Van Pelt, SVP, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.